Okay, and we're live. So welcome to Money Portal class number 5. And today we have online, it's me and Dominique. We may have Taya join us in a little bit, but we're gonna roll with it, and we're gonna start by checking in. So since it's just Dominique and I, we can take 5 minutes, and if we need a little longer, we can do that. And Dominique, I'm gonna have you, if you're ready, to check in. um, gonna have you check in and just just I'm really curious right now of where you're at, but also you listening from home. I'm really curious of where you're at with this journey, and I really welcome honesty. So if you're feeling lost in any way, if you're feeling behind, if you're feeling great and everything is just going fantastic, if you've had any shift in your relationship with money so far, in any way. And I really want to know, like, what's happening for you. This is class number 5. We have 3 more classes, really 3-4 more classes until the class is over. So we're really in the thick of it. We're in the depth of the underworld journey, and we're soon going to start coming back up. So yeah, a good update on where you're at with the class. And you're still muted, just so you know.
I just need to. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes I feel like I need to orientate myself so I can properly drop in. Fabio, do you mind asking me that question one more time?
Not at all. I appreciate you asking me that. So let's actually all do it. If you're watching from home, let's just drop in for a second. And we can just feel our bodies, bodies sitting on the chair, on the couch, or whatever you are. And the question that I'm holding for you is, where are you in this journey? We've had 5 classes so far, and they've been pretty full on of material. There's been lots of information, lots of experiential exercises, lots of insights for many people about your relationship with money. And we're in the thick of that underworld journey that we're all stepped into, and we're soon going to start our way back upwards. So where are you with it? What's sticking out for you? What's true, really? This is sort of like a check-in also for me to know how you're doing in this class.
Well, what I'm incredibly present with right now are the tears that are streaming down my face. And the recognition of my deep desire to be vulnerable without collapsing. Because I think at this level of connection I have with my soul that I belong here on earth. And I have a mission here that I somehow identify with that gives me hope and connection, because there's pieces that do not really make sense in an embodied level, especially with money. And so what I'm experiencing thus far in this class is my life. I'm a visionary, and I have seen things actualize in my visions, and I don't have a challenge asking for my needs. I mean, and especially asking for the recognition that I've invested this amount of energy and it equates to this amount of money. You know, all encompassing, I think it's important for artists and healers to get paid for what they're worth, or what, I liked how you shared in a past video of the results that, you know, participants receive in whatever is being served. You know, that intrinsic feeling, and more often it's transformation when I work with people. But the thing that I'm recognizing that I have a lot of challenge with is uh, it's having a sense of discipline with ease, or discipline and focused energy. I realize like I'm integrating all this new information, and sometimes I just feel so bound up in my body, and I feel like I have serious ADD. It's like crazy how fast-paced and staccato I feel when I'm trying so hard to just like integrate everything. And I'm desiring to not be a victim of this experience, but like to recognize on like a radical level, like like this right now is the process, and I'm fucking so like I wish you know, the words, they don't make sense. Like the ego is trying to identify with this whole experience, but it's just happening right now. And I think I want to stop thinking. A lot is coming up. You know, these exercises are no fucking joke. And like, I fully value this work. I think I'm taking this as a divine through divine order right now, because I really have no clue exactly, you know, how I'm gonna pay for rent in 2 days, like the remaining balance, and you know, offer new services like to my community. But I do know that I have like some events and projects that are like tangible, you know, and that are in the process of, you know, that are like dialed in to where it gives me hope that maybe this experience will give me deeper perspective on the art I'm to create. And so yeah, the last class I try to get all 4 classes like really, like I try to complete all 4 classes, but the 3rd class just I had to like back away, especially with the exercises in class 3 with all those 200 questions. I'm like, holy shit. The only thing I can fucking do is write them down, like just write down the questions and allow it to integrate. I'm looking forward to doing all these questions, but I guess I'm just at the first phase of awareness to start perceiving reality in these ways. And I am going to be vigilant with this work. I mean, with love, but like I really believe in financial prosperity through devotional work, and I'm gonna do my best continuously to speak a language that is relatable to the type of people that are willing to receive my message. And gosh, there's so much I just don't fucking know at the same time. And I'm okay with that. So I'm just gonna pause right now. Thank you guys.
So let's take a breath with Dominique all together. That was just really touching and very beautiful, very potent. Just to see in ourselves the parts that feel confused and overwhelmed. But also, and I hear in that and in your share, Dominique, like also fears. There's a fierceness of wanting to keep going and of wanting to keep offering your gifts. There's a fierceness of being fully where you're at right now. If it's all right for me to give you this reflection, if it's not, stop me. There's a fierceness of like allowing yourself to feel, which is huge. Like the grief that you're touching. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it on pause because I might just be a tsunami right now.
Amen. The waters. It's interesting that I don't know if you the song that I was playing by Damien Rice said the water comes down, the water comes down. And it also says, I don't want to change you. I don't want to change you. And just like really honoring where you're at. That it's huge. Like that is the work for me. Like just allowing yourself to feel my fear and my overwhelm in the face of life, of whatever is happening. Yeah, and just know that I'm with you. Like I'm fully with you. I'm fully with you. And if you can imagine my like hand on your back right now, like I'm fully with you. Now, whatever happens in the next few days, I'm in presence. I can't be there physically, but I'm present with your pain. Also, because I know that pain very personally, the very one you're speaking to, of feeling worried about how to pay bills that are coming up and that sort of tightening. I know it very personally, so I know how scary it feels. Is there, before we sort of like switch into the class format, is there anything else that you want to share that would help you feel more present? And remember, you're muted.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most powerful thing for me is when I sing, and at some point, if there's space, like I really want to offer a song.
Would you be willing to do it as our opening? Maybe something that's not, too long, maybe like a minute or a minute and a half as I turn on our candle to begin. And so as Dominique sings, I invite you all to drop into the class. And I think, okay, so this is just coming through right now. I think what Dominique is feeling is present as a field, whether it's in me, whether it's in her only, whether it's in the class. I mean, we are in the thickest of the class. So to hold all of that, to hold that whole sort of bubble, that whole situation of what we're moving through as a collective. And the planet is present, that grief, the confusion. How are we going to make it? How are we going to make it? How are we gonna make it? Just fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So as Dominique sort of like welcomes us in the class, I invite you to, as we've done the other times, to feel who's around you, like to remember it's a fallacy to believe that we're alone. Like our ancestors are very much present if we call on them. Spirit beings, our helpers are present. The plants, the rivers, the spirit of the place are present. So let's call on them, and let's start the class. Thank you, Dominique, for opening us up.
So I'm just going to place my phone right here. She has been traveling a long time between the worlds and her heart at stake. Breathing into unanswered questions. Is it her relationships or no money in the bank? This time she is dancing in the darkness of her soul, unveiling years of conditioning. Holding on to the tension, she discovers surrendering to the mystery. I'm a frontier woman, no panic button. I'm neither naive or ignorant. I'm a frontier woman, no panic button. Paving new roads, making new choices. Paving new roads, making new choices. She is willing to emerge. You may see her now, standing at the crossroad, intently listening for inner signals. Her body breathes, her body moves. She is learning new navigation skills so she can understand this magical time. Can never turn her back on the truth she embodies. She sees her strengths. She is alive. She is alive. I'm a frontier woman, no panic button. I'm neither naive or ignorant. I'm a frontier woman, no panic button. Paving new roads, making new choices. Paving new roads, making new choices. Paving new roads, making new choices.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Amen.
Yeah, I almost lost it through the song thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dominique. Wow. Yeah, so as this class keeps going, and the intensity is gonna go up. So let's keep trusting the bigger she that holds us all at all times, the earth. So ground, the body, the feet on the earth, the feet on the floor. Let's keep, if the energy goes up too much and it's about to erupt into unconsciousness, let's keep grounding and let's stay present. and just keep honoring our beautiful hearts. Thank you so much, Dominique. Okay, so I'm gonna go forward and start our actual PowerPoint, and I'm gonna ask you, Dominique, if in a second if you can see the page. So maybe you can unmute yourself and just tell me yes, and then you can mute yourself again. Can you see the Money Portal page? And if you're saying yes, I can't hear you. Okay, cool. I hear you. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So at this point, what I'm going to do is have a pen and a paper next to you. And Dominique, since you're the only one in the class at the moment, I'm gonna actually every so often I'm gonna ask you questions. So you might just want to sort of like pay attention and unmute yourself. When I'll actually say something like, Dominique, speak to me, and what do you think of this? And then you can unmute yourself. But we're going to do a lot of exercises, and they're going to be deep, and they're going to be fairly fast. So again, pace yourself, and you can always rewatch this afterward. If you're watching from home, you can pause it. Here we go. So Money Portal, class number 5. Thank you again for making it this far, folks. This is great. So let's do a quick recap of some of the topics that we've covered. And I'm going to try to pace myself as much as possible to allow you all to follow with ease and gusto. So we've covered our values, what is true about your life and day. So just another quick note about the values. The values are really core to this course and really core to a lot of the stuff I've been learning over the past few months. Our values really dictate our destiny. They are a signal of where we're going. And so the suggestion is to keep focusing, redo your values. I'll suggest the next class. At the end of next class, we'll redo our values again, quickly, just very briefly. But just keep coming back to your values. Like, write your values down and like post them where you can see them. Post them where on top of your computer. Post them in your kitchen, on your bathroom. Like, keep seeing your values and remind yourself of what's most important. Now, you're gonna do what's most important anyway, because that's why it's your highest value. But then we can have a choice between, choose, for example, for me, choosing to spend a lot of time on Facebook or focusing on my research in the indigenous soul, which is really what I care the most about, and it's my highest value. And I could use Facebook to like check out, because fear comes up, and so I could check out of my highest value. So the highest values is what you want to focus on. And DeMartini gives this fantastic example of the sleeping wife that I hadn't thought about. So DeMartini's wife, it was like 11 p.m. at night, and he hadn't come home yet, and she's about to go to bed, and she turns off the computer and turns everything off, and she puts oil on her body and slips into bed, and she's about to fall asleep. She's just in that almost dreamy state where she's dozing off, and DeMartini comes back home. And now DeMartini's highest value is beauty. Anything that's beautiful purses, beauty products. She loves beautiful paintings. Beauty is her highest value. So DeMartini comes home and he's like, "Hey, honey," and he's sort of like speaking to her as she's falling asleep. She's like sort of opening one eye and dozing off again, and starts talking to her, and he's like, "I wanted to surprise you, and I bought us a ticket to go to Venice, and I have a plan for us for the next 4 days, and we're gonna walk through Venice and visit all the most beautiful art galleries, and then we're gonna go all the beautiful Italian shops. So you're going to get to choose any purse you want. You're going to get to choose any pair of shoes that you want. And, he basically paints, and then we're going to go to this beautiful, fantastic Italian dinner over the bay, and it's going to be fantastic. And so as he says this, she suddenly wakes up, and he's like, listen, we have to live though in 3 hours. That's a ticket that I bought. In 3 hours we have to be ready. So she jumps out of bed and she packs quickly, and then they're off, ready to go to Italy to have this 4-day romantic, fantastic vacation. So why am I using this example? What struck me about the example is that that's when you know that a value is your highest value. So think about your life. Think about what you've written that is your highest value, and think about your life. Think about being the sleeping wife. If your partner or friend or brother or whoever came to you and told you, hey, there's this thing that's about to happen, it's in 2 hours. Now, you're about to fall asleep and you're really tired. But what is the one thing that you'd be willing to sort of like jump out of bed like a spring and like run out, jump on a plane just to go see this thing? And it could be music for some people. It could be like I imagine for me, if they were to tell me, Martin Pertel is teaching in Rome or something, I'd be on it. I'd just be, screw sleeping. I'll just jump on a train and get to Rome just to see him. Or things of that nature. So that's when you know that a value is your highest value, is that it takes priority on almost anything else, even on physical needs like sleeping. So again, your value is super important. Your highest value is what you want to be focusing on, your highest value. And your highest value, a good clue is something that you jump out of bed when you're super tired for. Okay, something else that we've covered is the 60-60-30 principle. I called it a productivity supercharge. For those of you that have used it, you're starting to see how potent it is, how powerful it is. So we're about to do an exercise that's going to give you a good idea of what to focus on. But what you want to focus on with the 60-60-30, ideally, now you can use it with anything. You can literally use it to cook, to create a recipe, to work out. You could use it with anything. But the idea with the 60-60-30, I'm going to say this again, is to focus on your top priority item, which is connected with your highest value. You want to focus on your top goal. That's eventually going to give you the greatest satisfaction and the greatest advancement in your life, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And the 60-60-30 is one single task, is one activity. So for example, it gets a little complicated when, like, let's just say, like you say, I'm doing research on, like, I'm answering emails for my 60-60-30. It gets complicated because it's easy to get distracted. The example that I've used before is the example of writing. So like 50 minutes, you write nonstop. Essentially, you turn off your phone, you put a note on your door and you say, don't enter. You like barricade yourself in. Turn off Facebook. You want to make it easy for you to not distract yourself. And then for 50 minutes, you hunker down and you just blast your creativity on page and you just write. You can pause to like take a breath and stuff, but like you don't want to wander off. You don't want to like look out of the window and like, be distracted by a passing car and then sort of like be off onto another thing. You want to just focus on that thing and you set a timer. That's a secret. With a 60-60-30, you want to set a timer for 50 minutes, then 10 minutes, a small break where you drink water and recharge, and another 50 minutes of writing, then 10 minutes, a little break where you do a couple of push-ups, and then you take a full 30 minutes where you just like let yourself decompress. You can sleep. I do that. You can go take a walk in the park. You can have a conversation with a friend. You can even schedule conversations with friends. If you know that helps you. So the idea is, again, to have one single activity because it helps you just really hone in and not get distracted. If your goal is something else, something like, I don't know, like editing a movie, then where there's maybe like some multitasking involved, try to limit the multitasking. Stay with one activity as much as possible, or like one main project, one main activity. The secret with the 60-60-30, say one more time, is to actually schedule what you're going to do before. So you want to write down, during this next 50 minutes, I'll do exactly this. The 10 minutes, I'll relax exactly in this way. Next 50 minutes. So that you're diminishing the probability that you'll distract yourself. Because there's all kinds of unconscious stuff that kicks into action, right? Okay, moving on. There's a lot to cover. Next thing is big dreams and taking action. We've explored 20 of our big dreams that we have. Big dreams are, as Alex Baisley said, they're energy pockets. Whenever we feel like confused and sad and depressed in the world, we can pick up our page of big dreams, and suddenly as we imagine ourselves achieving those dreams or like moving towards those dreams, they usually release their energy and fill us with energy. And they're a way of just like keep ourselves inspired and remember what we're fighting for, what we're walking towards. Big dreams and taking actions. So you're going to be choosing a big dream, and then you're going to take action using the 60-60-30. Now your big dreams is likely connected with your highest value. And then I'm going to say a couple of words on procrastination. This was huge when I heard it from Demartini. So Demartini says that procrastination is created by three things. Procrastination is huge. So he says it's an unclear vision, unclear step-by-step process, or an unclear goal that is not aligning with your highest value. So unclear vision, what is your actual dream or goal? What is your big dream? If you're not clear with that, and that sometimes doesn't just happen. Like I'm noticing in my life, I actually have to write them down because I have such a creative, wild mind that if I don't write stuff down, my mind will just get lost. So I write down my goals, I write down my big dreams, and I keep them present next to me so that I can see them and I can see what I'm working towards. So what is your dream and goal? If you don't have a clear vision, you're likely to procrastinate. Then what is your clear, step-by-step, chunked vision? So we need to break it down into clear, bite-sized chunks, because the mind, if your goal is to move to Hawaii, for example, and there's all kinds of paperwork that you need to do, all kinds of like preparation that you need to do before getting to Hawaii, maybe selling your stuff and finding a place to live, finding a job and blah, blah, blah. Like if the vision is not clear and it's not chunked down into small pieces, you're likely to procrastinate because it will feel overwhelming. And we've talked about overwhelm before. Overwhelm gets taken care of as we take steps. Third point, a goal that is not aligned with your highest value. So if your goal is actually not linked to your highest value, you probably procrastinate. So how will this goal help me fulfill my highest goal, my highest value, my highest goal? So you want to keep reminding yourself if your particular goal that you've chosen was again moving to Hawaii, if it's not connected to your highest value, you're more likely to procrastinate simply because you want to do it spontaneously. So if it's not, then pause and ask yourself, this goal that I've chosen, and we're about to do it, this goal that I've chosen, how is this goal connected with my highest value? Once you have these three things lined up, your vision, step-by-step, and the alignment piece, you'll see that procrastination, it's almost going to disappear. So now, for those watching from home and for Dominique that's plugged in, and Taya possibly, I can't see you right now, let's take a proactive step to see where you can apply your time and energy to your highest leverage point. Your highest leverage point is your highest values, which is also your highest goal. Okay, so exercise. Grab your big dreams sheet. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to do that, or just recall some of your big dreams. Again, I suggest that you keep it close to you on your desk. You just want to be able to see them because they're energy pockets. Okay, and then choose one big dream you want to work on, one that is aligned with your values and one that you think you can achieve soonish. Now, I'm allowing you to choose, like sometimes for me, when I have 20 goals, I actually wrote down 53 goals. It can really feel overwhelming. Like, whoa, I want to do them all and I want to do them all now. This is how my brain works. So we're just using this as an experiment, okay? We're just going to use this as an experiment for the next 7 days, like something super simple. So you're going to choose one big dream out of your 20 dreams pile, and to choose it, go with your gut. Just scroll through your dreams and go with the one where your belly lights up, with your heart lights up. Just go for it. And ideally, you're choosing something that you know you can achieve fairly soon. So it could be like, well, I'll use my example of before, like write a paper, like write an article. Like I can bust out an article in 7 days. Like I can do it, I can figure it out. If it's an article connected with my highest value, which is indigenous ancestry, indigenous soul, then I'm going to be much more likely to do that article. And then if that article is connected also to my second value, which is growing my business, and if I'm growing a business that's connected with indigenous soul, then the three things go perfectly. You see how it works? First value, indigenous soul. Second value, building a business. Connected with my goal of writing an article. I can even feel it right now. It's like, whoa, I want to turn off the call right now. Excuse my French. I want to turn off the call right now and do the article right now. It's so exciting. It just fills me with energy because it's my top highest values with a cool goal that I can achieve fairly soon. Okay. So you're choosing a big dream. You've done it. Great. Right now in this moment, you're going to write down 7 steps to accomplish the goal. You're going to write down clear and detailed. And as you write them, I'll give you 2 minutes to do it. I'm just going to say a couple of things, which is 7 steps, like for example, step number 1 for me, research what exactly you want to write about. Step number 2, research your audience. And the way that I'm going to do that, which website will I visit, or like how long am I gonna spend on it? This is all stuff you're gonna do with 60-60-30. Step number 3, choose a deadline by which I actually want to submit it to a journal to get it published. Steps of this nature, you want the steps to be clear and detailed. So right now you're writing it down, 7 steps to accomplish that one big dream that you can accomplish fairly soon. Just see the goal and envision the steps to get yourself there. You're looking for the 7 main steps that are going to get you to accomplish it. I'll give you about 30 seconds more. Dominique, after the 30 seconds, I'm going to ask you if you can read your steps out loud, if it's all right. Just so that we can give a tangible examples. And Taya, if you're on the line, I welcome you to do the same. Okay, time should be up. So Dominique, if you can unmute yourself and tell me what goal you've picked. Again, if you feel comfortable sharing it. If you don't, just tell me so that I'll know, because I can't see you right now.
Okay. Can you see me now?
I can hear you, which is
okay,
great.
Cool. So it's interesting because my value, like I'm just choosing one dream, right? Or a value that. Okay.
Yeah, one dream.
So I am producing another shamanic experience event called Indigenous Soul.
Hey.
And basically it's blindfolded authentic movement with live instrumentation that follows Gabriel Roth's 5 rhythms. And then when each participant, and after the journey, the participants will take off their blindfolds, and projections of the natural world and of people's inner shaman will be used through media, and then poetry of the deep remembrance, why we're creators, why it's important to utilize technologies, why for our benefit, so we can have that deep remembrance of our indigenous soul. And to me, the indigenous soul is the golden thread of primordial expression and deep connection to the earth. So I'm just kind of doing my seven goals that I need to do. I've already contacted the venue, have already asked the artist, but now it's like the bigger vision has been created, so now it's like the little pockets and details, like promotional marketing, making like promotional marketing, making sure logistics, making sure I'm getting good cacao, making sure that there's people who are like really solid. I want to create a team that will work with me, so I have to make like a Google spreadsheet that everyone can really understand very well. So those are my 7 goals.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I want to say that your idea just filled me with such excitement. I feel like my shins are tingling with excitement. This is so beautiful. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Do you see Taya there, or if not, we can keep going? Okay, cool. Then we'll keep rolling. So you can mute your...
Hi.
Who's that?
Taya.
Hey. Hi. Have you been listening?
I just got here when Dominique started talking.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So we're just doing an exercise. And I'm having people, in this case Dominique, I'm having her share practically the 7 steps to accomplish her big dream, one of her big dreams, which is really freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
And so since you just jump on, I imagine that you didn't have a chance to actually do the exercise.
No,
is that true?
I have not.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep rolling, and then I'll what I'm doing in this class, I'm sort of like pausing and asking people to like comment. So I'll call on you in a little bit. So you ladies can mute yourself, and then we'll keep steaming.
Okay.
Thank you. Dominique, you mute yourself if it's you.
Oh, sorry, sweetie.
Yes, cool. Okay, so that was fantastic. Thank you so much. So what you want to do, I wanted to do this to give a really practical examples, since I'm not doing one-on-ones with you yet, unless you want it, I can do that. But I wanted to give a really practical example of what this looks like. So for example, let's use Dominique's example of like securing the place, which I think she already did. But anyway, let's just say securing the place. What she would do tomorrow morning, she wakes up, she does her PSR, she does her personal success ritual, she wakes up, maybe she does a little jogging, a little yoga, she drinks her smoothie with eggs and bananas or something, and then she's ready. First thing she does, 60-60-30, she grabs her piece of paper, she writes 50 minutes, call this, call that, check on the internet, whatever practical and precise details she needs to take care of to get sort of like to check off the first steps or the 7 steps to get to the goal. That's clear. So first 50 minutes I'll do this, then 10 minutes she'll write push-ups and drink water. The next 50 minutes keep same goal, same things until she's checked it off. Keep calling people for the venue, secure the place, whatever the thing may be, secure a doorman or whatever, until the thing is done. And then she'll write down, then 10 minutes and 30 minutes of pause, 30 minutes of relax for the 60-60-30. So for now on, you can use, and my suggestion is that you will use the 60-60-30 to get done step by step, so 1 through 7, all your steps, boom, 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 day by day. You can do multiple 60, 60, 30s during the day. You know, I think 2 or 3 is sort of like a maximum you can do during the day, to just get stuff done and move closer and closer to your big dream. So thank you, Dominique, for sharing your voice with that. That was awesome. Okay, so now I want to talk about something that's fairly personal, and I believe it may be be alive inside some of you. So this is a recent insight I had 2 nights ago, and I was reading Martin Pertel, and I had this insight, and I wrote it down, and it was so painful and like beautifully like grief filling that my stomach was rumbling with heat. It was awesome. So the topic essentially has to do with loyalty and a sense of belonging to a certain people. So for example, the rebels, the poor, the downtrodden, the beaten, and the indigenous, etc. So I realized that we may have a sense of loyalty that may be conscious and unconscious to a certain group of people, and that may have consequences into how we live our life, and particularly our relationship with money. We may have loyalty to our family, so loyalty to our family and to their ways of life. Like for example, if they were rich, or if they were middle class, or if they were poor. Like for example, it's the case in my situation, growing up poor. There can be inner sort of like subconscious systems that keep me tied to a certain way of being, a certain way of life, because I'd be afraid to lose that relationship with, for example, my father, or the group of rebels, or the group of the poor as a whole, if I got wealthier. This is when the topic of alliance comes up. So what happens if I change? Who am I if I change? Who am I if I suddenly become wealthy, like good wealthy, like hefty? How am I to relate to the group that I so loved and I so love, and that I related so well before? Like for example, the beaten and the downtrodden, the poor, the 99%. If I suddenly become part of the 1%, who am I? That can create, that's sort of like a subtle shift that we'll keep looking at, but I just want to sort of like pose this question, and however it shows up for your life. I'm using the poor examples, but it's really true in every economic class, because it's usually tied to our family and to their ways of life. And so if we choose to move out of a certain class status, we can happen that some subconscious part can feel like we're abandoning that family member, or that family as a whole, or that group of people, and that can feel horribly painful. And so we may choose to stay in an agreement, like for example, I'll stay poor so that I can keep fighting for poor people's rights. They may actually not serve us in the long run, and again, that's always our choice. But my suggestion is to become conscious of what's happening inside of you, in your subconscious. So see how this relates to you. Another insight that came was the masculine hurting the feminine. We side with the hurting one, and we might shun the hurter. What is the healthy masculine? This is something that came to me. I was thinking of sort of like the example of men beating women, or like the example of the father beating the mom. And often the child will try, that's at least what I did. Not there was any violence in my family, not at least physical, but I would side with the hurting part. I would side with the mother. We want to protect the mother, right? We can see how this shows up in a larger systemic ways. If we have identified money with the masculine, and the earth, the downtrodden, the indigenous, etc., with the feminine, and we see the money, the masculine, hurting the feminine, the earth, what is that gonna do to our relationship with money? Of course, it's gonna have us reject it, and not only that, but demonize it. So again, we want to keep integrating. We want to keep stepping into adulthood. And so that's why I put at the end, what is the healthy masculine? That's a question for me, but it's really a question for all of us. What is the healthy masculine? What is the healthy new economy that's wanting to be born? Now, what is a healthy way that we can use money and that we can be wealthy, but also support the rest of the web of life? There's just some sprinkling thoughts for you. And we move into the thick of the class right here. So money despair. This may be a very good help to some of you in this moment. Money despair and world despair. Despair, depression, and other forms of doubt may show up in our way. Joanna Macy offers invaluable advice for these times. We apply it to this course. So you can see there to the right, Joanna Macy is an eco-philosopher, system thinker, and she's a Buddhist scholar. She's a lady that I've studied with and that I've read her books, and she's like a grandmother of the world. She's one of those women that's just enormously powerful and very deep and really funny, and she really has the energy of grandmother. Again, I've had a chance of studying with her, and she's really beautiful. Anyway, so she offers this spiral, or better, as it's represented here to the right, as a growing seed, a growing root. So we can see there the gratitude. We start with the roots, honoring our pain, seeing with new eyes, and then going forth. So if you feel despair, sometimes despair can block us. What is going on here? Okay. So Joanna Macy says there are 4 steps to move out of despair and into action. This you can use when you're completely overwhelmed by what's happening on the planet. You can use it when you're overwhelmed by maybe a heartbreak, personal heartbreak. You can use this when you're overwhelmed by what's happening and despairing maybe about your financial situation, if that's true for you. So she uses 4 steps. Step number 1, opening to gratitude. Step number 2, owning our own pain for the world. 3, seeing with new eyes. And 4, going forth. And then there's the beautiful vignette there to the right. Just fantastic. And now let's break it down. Opening to gratitude. We start with gratitude because that helps us be fully present. It shows us that we have a right to be here in this miraculous world. This evolving life on earth is a wonder, and gratitude helps us open our hearts and minds to this miracle, to this beauty. It brings us into presence, and I have come to realize that the most precious gift that we can give our world and ourselves is to be fully present to it. Gratitude is a revolutionary act because it counters the thrust of the industrial growth society or the consumer society, which breeds dissatisfaction. You have to make people dissatisfied with what they have and who they are in order to keep them buying. It also dispels the fears and the gremlins of scarcity. It is a complete mood shifter. So step number 1, if you're feeling despairing, drop into your gratitude. You want to, the easy way that I do it, I literally write down, or I speak out loud. If I don't have anything to write down, I speak out loud to the world, to a river, to the clouds, whatever. I speak 5 things I'm grateful for. Really simple, 5 things. Honoring our pain for the world. When people discover that they don't need to be afraid of the pain they feel for their world, there is a great liberation of their energy. People find that these feelings of anguish for the wider planet are living proof of their interconnectedness, their radical interdependence with all life. This brings a new way of seeing and experiencing life. Well, okay, I misspelled there, but it essentially says make a list of your worst fears. So take a piece of paper right now and really quickly jot down 5 things, 5 or more if you want, of things that you're afraid of, like things that you're afraid will happen in relation to your dreams, in relation to your business, in relation to your life. What are you afraid of? It can be really practical, like I'm afraid I won't be able to pay rent. I'm afraid don't have enough credibility to have people trust me. Whatever your thing is, I am afraid that people won't trust me, won't follow me. I'm afraid that I'll get in trouble with the tax people. I'm afraid I'll make too much money and become greedy. Just write it down. 5 to 10 things. And what that's likely doing to you, as it did for me, it has a way of freeing a little bit. I don't know, checking with your body. After you've written down, you notice a list. I noticed for me, I actually wrote something like 50 fears. Just went on a roll. And I noticed it had a way of like, okay, well, I can see them now. Like, I don't have to keep them all in my head. I can all see them in front of me, and I don't have to believe them. And then I would invite you to read back your fears with a statement like, I'm believing that. I'm believing that. You know, I don't have enough credentials to be who I want to be, whatever your thing is. So that you keep grabbing sort of like stock of the situation, and you keep taking perspective on what's true. And you can try right now with just a couple of your phrases and just say out loud, I'm believing that, blank. And if you're watching this from home, you can pause and do more of this, but we're going to keep rolling because we have a lot of material to cover. Step number 3, seeing with new eyes. The third stage of the cycle is to see with new eyes. There is this new paradigm thinking that you hear of now and again, coming from science as well as from ancient teachings. This is the new world that we as a humanity, as a world, we're welcoming in, and particularly us as people that are waking up and are wanting to work towards the betterment of our world. This is the sort of new paradigm she's speaking about. It is this new way of seeing that will enable us to create the life-sustaining society we are committed to in the Great Turning. Our beliefs about what we're capable of are linked to our concept of who we are. Seeing ourselves differently changes our assessment of what's within our power, allowing us to move beyond all limiting views of what it is and isn't possible. Here we are shifting our energy and perception, and we are welcoming what is happening to us as a teaching and a gift to remind us to keep going and that we are on the right track. So if we're experiencing despair, etc., or confusion, we can, after we've done the gratitude, and we honor our pain, and then we can begin to shift our perception in our brain and begin to see things in a new light. Like, for example, well, maybe this is happening for me and not against me. And again, I know it's easier said than done, but it can be done. I know it personally. Going forth, step number 4. The fourth stage is where we gather what we've learned in the first 3 stages and look at our own niche in life, where we happen to be living, what we happen to be doing, and what our real relations are. This allows us to see how we can collaborate in building a sustainable, peaceful, and ecological sane world. Equipped with these 4 discoveries, we move into the going forth section of the spiral, which focuses on how we find our role in the Great Turning and offer the gift of our unique contribution. Most projects of significance begin as fleeting thoughts that were caught and then acted on. Those visions, those big dreams that you have may have been fleeting thoughts that you're beginning to act on. We have to keep believing that not only our unique role and place in the world is so needed and wanted, but that as we keep moving, the new steps will show up. I'll read that again. As we keep moving, the new steps will show up. The key there is to keep moving, to keep going forth. This is true if you've danced at all, and I've danced a lot of 5 rhythms, and when I get to the most intense parts, sort of the underworld of the dance, sometimes I'll get to the grief piece where I'm sluggish and I want to stop dancing. And the key there is to keep moving. My teacher Melissa says, keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving, keep taking action. Active hope. This is Nako. This is the song I posted. Nako says, I am relentless, stop at nothing. I am coyote, bridges building. I am relentless, stop at nothing. I am a coyote, bridges building. We're building bridges. We're building bridges in our community, within ourselves, and onto this new future world that we're welcoming in. Joanna Macy says, hope is a verb. It's not something you have. Again, hope is a verb. It's not something you have. It is something you do. Hope arises in action. That is why a lot of this course is very practical. There's a lot of exercises. The reason I'm having you do them during the course is so that it diminishes the chances that you'll feel stuck and stagnant, and that you'll sort of like go down in the quicksands. So let's keep moving. Let's keep staying engaged, and thank you again for keep rolling with this class. Well, this the fear exercise we've done. Again, if you want to keep going with the fear exercise, you can pause the video and keep doing it. And then now we move on to the thick and the beauty of this course. I love this part. I'm a myth guy. I love archetypes. So I hope you enjoy this as well. The 8 archetypes. Dun, 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 dun. So Brian Kessel's archetypes are ways of understanding ourselves in relation to money, and notice any pattern we may have developed in reaction to an early childhood experience. They are the guardian, the caretaker, the star, the empire builder, the innocent, the idealist, the saver, the pleasure seeker. The idea is to notice where we are, acknowledge it, and recognize the medicine and shadow inherent in each archetype. These were created in childhood to make us feel the safest. Have compassion towards yourself. Now we're going to go on and explore the 8 archetypes, and then afterward I'm going to have you, for the 2 ladies that are on the call, I'm going to have you tell me which archetypes are yours. So grab pen and paper. There's going to be some writing to do. Okay, so yeah.
The slide is not appearing. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be.
What's that?
The slide is not appearing. I can see it down below, but not on the big screen. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? That's super weird.
Can you see it, Dominique? You can?
I can see it fine. Yeah.
Strange. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry that that's happening. See if you can just keep following. I'll try to read everything so that you can keep sort of staying plugged in. I'm sorry that's happening. I can be frustrating. So Taya, since you can see the big slide, I'm just gonna read it, and you just sign check under the things that feel true to you, like the things that feel true to your experience regarding money. So these are a series of questions, and you're just going to check the ones that are true. Again, so money primarily allows me to not worry, to buy things and experiences that I enjoy, to create freedom for other pursuits, like creative, spiritual, political, philanthropic, to have an ever-growing sense of security and abundance, to be admired and recognized by family, friends, and society at large, to have faith that things will work out always for the best in the end, to take care of others, sometimes at my own expense, to put time and money into something that makes a lasting impact, like your business. So again, to reframe this exercise, we're checking the phrases that feel true to us. And then for those of you that can see the slide in large, you can see that for each phrase, there's an archetype attached to it. Number 2, when it comes to money, at my most extreme, I'm avoidant and sometimes confused. Generous, perhaps to the point of being enabling or self-abandoning. Impulsive and pleasure-seeking. Frugal and disciplined. Worried and anxious much of the time. Grandiose and ambitious much of the time. Shoot balls. Sorry. And last one is hungry for attention and praise. When it comes to money, at my most extreme, I'm hungry for attention and praise. Okay. I'm gonna move on to the next question, number 3. There's like 6 questions. There's not a lot of this. Number 3. Over the last 5 years, my financial net worth has grown primarily due to good saving and investing habits. Declined. If you don't know what financial net worth is, just think about over the last 5 years, has your money in the bank grown primarily due to good savings and investing habits. Declined primarily due to lack of focus or gifts to family and friends. Grown primarily due to job-related promotion, bonuses, growth in the value of homes, businesses, or investment portfolio. Declined primarily due to overspending. Not kept me from feeling nervous. Your money in the bank has not kept you from feeling nervous. I have no idea or don't think it's important. Number 4. Which of the following rules do you seem mostly to live by? You can't take it with you, so you might as well enjoy it now. It is better to give than to receive. A penny saved is a penny earned. Big corporations and governments can be trusted. If I'm not vigilant, it could all fall apart. Number 5. Which of the following has been most true of me over the past 3 years? I've been financially dependent on others, including credit cards or debts. Others have been financially dependent on me, including employees. There are no dependencies either way. Number 6. What I have to show financially is a lot of stuff that I've bought over the years. This does not have to necessarily be just like a lot of furniture. It could be like a lot of books or something. But anyway, what I have to show financially is a lot of stuff that I've bought over the years. I don't have investments other than possibly a home. Real estate or ownership in a closely held business. Financial investments like stocks, income property, or mutual funds. Socially screened stocks, collectibles, or my creative academic work. So that's essentially something creative that you've created, maybe like a series of songs that you're selling, or your paintings. Next one. A showpiece, a home, nice cars, a restaurant, a retail business, wine, jewelry, art. What I have to show financially is parents, adult children, charities, or friends who wouldn't have made it without my help. What I have to show financially is mostly fixed income investments, such as bank savings accounts, CDs, bonds, or T-bills. Now, for those of you that are able to see the screen, you'll see that it says for each box that you checked above, place a tally mark next to the archetype name that corresponds to your answer. For example, leave that be. So what you want to do essentially is notice which archetype is the one that shows the most, and that will give you a good sense of your hierarchy of archetypes. Like you may have like 5 points for the guardian, and then 3 for the innocent, and then like 2 for the pleasure seeker, and then the other ones are maybe 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So you could do that now, or you can pause the video, or you're gonna get a good sense of who your archetype might be in a second. So we're gonna explore the archetypes a little bit deeper. So all of this that I'm speaking is from the work of Brent Castle. Even this test is from Brent Castle as well. So let's start with the archetype of the guardian. The guardian, the positive intention of the guardian is to be careful, alert, and prudent. Safety is your highest priority. Concern for your safety is a wonderful expression of your higher wisdom, which always has your well-being at heart. But when your worry gets the best of you, the anxiety might become intolerable and you might feel as if catastrophe is just a moment away. To create peace for your guardian, take time today to pursue a calming activity that you love, perhaps listening to music, being in nature, getting some exercise, or having fun with a friend or a loved one. The main negative connotation of the guardian, particularly this, you want to think about your whole life, but really this is around your financial life and how you deal with money, how you spend money, how you make money, how you save money, how you invest money. If this sounds true to you, then you may be a guardian. The main emotions of the guardian are anxiety, fear, and worry. And the phrase is, my worry helps me keep it together. Like if I worry about money, if I keep constantly my wheels spinning about money, then I'm keeping it together. So there's a constant feeling of fear, this anxiety. So notice if that's you. The pleasure seeker. You prioritize pleasure and enjoyment in the here and now, which feeds your body and your spirit. Your pitfall is that at times hedonism, greed, or impulsiveness can get the best of you, but you also enjoy life to the fullest and an admirable quality. So you may engage in retail therapy, spending beyond your budget, particularly when you're feeling low. You're feeling low and you just go out on a shopping spree and you buy 200 CDs, or maybe 5, but it's maybe beyond your budget. You may be a pleasure seeker if you save less than 5% of your income. Some of the sort of, I don't like saying negative feeling, I don't think there's such a thing. Let's just say some of the less pleasant feelings are hunger, greed, impatience, and self-absorption. And some of the helpful feelings are sensory pleasure, excitement, and satiation. So this archetype, I said that we're going to look at both the dark side and sort of light side of the same archetype, and the same archetype it has things that has medicine to give us, and has medicine that we want to notice because it's where pitfalls are. So you may be a pleasure seeker if any of these resonates with you. Moving on, the idealist. As an idealist, you place great value on something honorable, and you aspire to direct your resources and energy towards that cause. Perhaps it is creativity, compassion, social justice, or spiritual growth, all high expression of spirit in your life. On bad days, you experience mistrust, skepticism, or rebelliousness around money. On good days, you're able to express vision and great compassion in your use of money. You may be an idealist if your primary vocation is an artist, musician, entertainer, or you work for a nonprofit. You may be an idealist if you rely on others for financial support. You may be an idealist if you distrust big business, so you invest instead in small business or in the arts and music. These are some of the feelings associated with the idealist: skepticism, rebelliousness, and anger. Also associated with the idealists are justice, fairness, creative expression, spiritual awakening. Keep noticing when that's you. Noticing when you're nodding, you're like, yep, that's me. Moving on, the saver. Self-sufficiency is a high priority for you, which is admirable. You seek security and abundance by accumulating more financial assets. However, you can also be frugal, hoarding, or even obsessive about your investment when it comes to money. Today, try making relaxation and enjoyment of your life the highest priority. The key insight is that your soul doesn't care how much you have in the bank, although your higher spiritual values are much more able to be expressed when you're not smothered by scarcity. I'll say that again. Your higher spiritual values are much more able to be expressed when you're not smothered by scarcity. You save more than 20. You may be a saver if you save more than 20% of your earned income per year. These are some of the feelings associated with the saver: is fear, tension, overanalyzing, living in the future, but also sufficiency, abundance, and freedom. The star. The star is motivated by that part of you that wants to be loved and accepted, a very natural expression of spirit. The star is present when you spend, invest, or give away money, at least partially because you want to be recognized, to feel hip or classy, or to increase self-esteem. At worst, you're pretentious and self-important in these moments. At best, you exhibit leadership and style. The next few days, try resisting at least one temptation to buy something in order to garner attention. Notice and embrace the feelings that arise when you don't suppress them with your money behavior. Now, you may be a star if you spend your money on the body, the hair, body beauty products, beautifying yourselves, fashion, etc. Anything that makes you shine like a star, anything that increases your style and the way that you look, and make you hip and classy, and raises your self-esteem even. You may be sensitive to criticism. These are some of the feelings associated with the star: sensitivity to criticism, anxiety, feelings of insignificance, loneliness, and phoniness, but also love, community, and interconnectedness. The innocent. As an innocent, you'd rather put your attention on many areas of life other than money. Innocents tend to believe life will work out for the best, even without having to pay close attention to money. A lot of innocence in Asheville and in Boulder. Zing! I'm actually zinging myself here. The risk is that you can become helpless when it comes to money, avoiding the topic completely. On the positive side, you're often hopeful and adaptable. You may be an innocent if you'd rather avoid balancing your checkbook, looking at your expenses, and paying bills. You may be an innocent if you've had a long time debt and have less than 3 months living expenses in savings. You may be an innocent if you struggle for survival and can make ends meet. Some of the feelings that you may experience as an innocent is frustration, desperation, inadequacy, helplessness, and overwhelm, but also faith, trust, optimism, and simplicity. We're almost done here. The caretaker. As a caretaker, you give and lend money to express compassion and generosity, very noble expressions of your spirit. This can lead to enabling or even the self-abandoning behaviors at the worst of times. But you're probably also someone who expresses a higher than average amount of empathy and generosity. The question is, do you take as good care of yourself as you do of others? You may be a caretaker if other people are more dependent on you than you on them, and there is no equal reciprocity. There's no real reciprocity. You may be a caretaker if you spend more than 20% of your income on others. He actually includes children. If you have children or parents that need help, he also includes them as part of the caretaker archetype. Some of the feelings associated with the caretaker are guilt, martyrdom, anger, overburden, selflessness, and superiority, but also compassion, generosity, and interconnectedness. Last one, I believe, is the empire builder. You thrive on power and innovation to create something of enduring value. For the purest part of your motivation, you aim to make a profound difference in the lives of others. At worst, empire builders can be grandiose, dominating, or insatiable, but they also exhibit great capacity for hard work, focus, innovation, and decisiveness. Our question for the empire builder is, do you have enough to enjoy your life full today? You may be an empire builder if your business and career occupies more than 70% of your waking hours. You may be an empire builder. Oh, if your number keeps increasing, like something like, after $10,000 a year, I'll never have to work again. But instead, you keep increasing that number every year. If you say something like, I'm just gonna be satisfied with $100,000 a year, but then once you reach that, you go up one more step. You're like, no, actually, I'll be satisfied with $120,000 a year, and every year increases. Some of the feelings associated with the empire builder are insecurity, instability, workaholism, loneliness, and grandiosity, but also societal impact, leadership, and abundance. Now, what we want to do with these archetypes that I illustrated, let's take a breath actually, because I'm going really fast. Very nice. Take a glass of water, stretch your neck and your shoulders. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to seek balance. That's a whole sort of spirit behind this course even, is to grow into adulthood and maturity. For me, also means finding balance between light and dark, night and day, between the different parts of ourselves, and have them speak from one true place. So one of the way of seeking balance, if the guardian is a strong archetype for you currently, you will benefit by taking on the habits of the pleasure seeker. And you can see in parentheses, you'll see the qualities, the positive qualities of these archetypes. So the pleasure seeker, the empire builder, and the innocent. If pleasure seeker is so strong for you, the guardian, the saver, will be of balm, healing balm. If the idealist is your archetype, then you can learn from the saver, the empire builder, and the star. If the saver is your archetype, you can learn from the pleasure seeker, the idealist, and the caretaker. The star is your archetype, or one of your top archetypes, really. You can learn from the guardian, the innocent, the caretaker, and the idealist. The innocent is your archetype. Then you can learn from the empire builder, the guardian, and the saver. The caretaker is your archetype. You can learn from the innocent, the pleasure seeker, and the saver. And if the empire builder is your archetype, you can learn from the pleasure seeker and the idealist. Now, for more on this, you can learn, you can read It's Not About the Money by Brent Kessel, and he goes, I've read that book, and I've been advising many friends to read it for years. I think it's a game changer, particularly if you like archetypes, and he gives in-depth examples on the archetypes. It goes much more deeper and has tons of other exercises you can use. Very, very good resource. So we're at the end of the course, and then we'll get to some check-in, check-outs. So the homeworks for, actually, let me pause before we get to the homeworks. Let me unmute both of you, Dominique and Taya, and if anyone else is in the call. And I'd love to hear what archetype resonates for you.
I'm almost embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or I feel shame.
Yeah.
But
very,
I'm a
very
pleasure
common.
seeker.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And so you're feeling shame about that.
Yeah, I do. I almost feel like, oh man.
Like you shouldn't be.
I shouldn't be a pleasure seeker, no. According to this model. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Well, good to notice that I'm just jumping back to the pleasure seeker to notice, where is the pleasure seeker? To notice some of the qualities of the pleasure seeker, but also some of the gifts. Every archetype has a medicine. So you might wanna I'll give you a precise exercise to do, but you might wanna also to sort of like give a healing balm to the shame. Give breath to the positive qualities here, the sensory pleasure, excitement, and satiation. Like there's something that your archetype teaches the others. It's a medicine for others. But I also get the shame, and it's important to notice the shame. Yeah. It's potent. Cool. And so did you get a sense for what archetype could help you here? Let's see, pleasure seeker here.
Was it the Empire Builder or
The
the
guardian and the saver.
the
The
Guardian?
guardian and the saver. So the guardian is a sort of like the worried one, you know, the one that's like constantly checking and making sure everything is safe. So there's a sense of like you know, think of a guardian. Think of a guardian standing in front of the gate of your money. And then also the archetype of the saver, the one that actually is a little bit of a hoarder, saves over 20% of their income. So those beginning to engage with those two archetypes, and you can go back eventually and reread the description. If you start engaging, and I know this for a fact, at least for me, it feels really true, and for others that I've talked to, it's true. If you engage with these archetypes like actively, with the archetypes that can be medicine for you, like the guardian and the saver, you will likely see a shift in your money habits. Actually, fairly fast. Cool. And Taya, what about you?
Most of mine had the Guardian. A couple of them also were the Innocent. There was a
Guardian
pleasure
and
seeker
Innocent.
yeah, for sure the Guardian was the main one, which is so interesting because the places where the pleasure seeker popped up, I was looking at that and it was more about um, like almost getting a fix. Like even if I just go to Goodwill and buy something for $3, like I feel better. It's
Yeah.
not so much about the pleasure of it. It's some other worked out thing. I don't know. So uh, but it's such a crazy juxtaposition because the Guardian, I have no money, but
Yeah.
a little bit that I have, it usually disappears very quickly for if not on things I have to, bills, but on just stuff like going to Goodwill, and then it's gone again. Um, so it's like I
Yeah.
want to guard it, but I spend it. It's just this really weird thing.
Yeah. Did you say also you have the innocent?
Yes.
Yeah, the innocent will likely do that. Will spend it really fast. Also the idealist, if you have any idealist.
Mm,
Also the pleasure seeker, you know, the pleasure seeker does that too.
uh-huh.
It's really the idealist and the pleasure seeker spend the money really fast.
Uh-huh.
It's a way of, again, we need to keep reminding ourselves that that's why Dominique, you know, you're talking about shame, which is amazing to notice, and to keep like using self-compassion, like these are childhood habits. You know, we saw the people around us, and maybe out of a reaction or out of a sort of like a copying what they did, we actually like copied or again reacted to a particular archetype and learned these things in childhood. So we're carrying this with us, and these are money habits that we may not be conscious of. So the quickly spending could be a way of not knowing. The innocent doesn't know how to handle money,
Yes.
and so it doesn't even want the responsibility of thinking how to pay bills and etc.
Yeah.
And so he or she finds a way of just getting rid of the money.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm just gonna spend it all.
Yes.
Again, it's unconscious, you know. It's like it's the child inside of us that sort of like jumps in the driver's seat, and it's like, okay, I'll take care of the money, and I don't want to take care of the money, so I'll just get rid of it. Oh wow, okay, money's gone. Now I can relax for a second. And then maybe the guardian kicks in. He's like, what the hell? We have no money. This is so
Yeah.
scary.
Yes. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So, you know, healing balms, your medicines, the innocent, the empire builder. To
Yes.
begin
Well,
thinking
that's
of,
what I'm working on now. And that's
yeah,
what I'm
and
feeling
I can see
about
that of
it.
you. Yeah, I can see that of you. And then the saver. Saver seems to be, see, the common thing here. The empire builder is present both in the guardian and in the innocent. So working towards the practices and the habits of the empire builder.
Uh-huh.
And then, and I'm gonna say the saver as well. I'm gonna say the saver, just out of personal experience.
Mhm.
So the saver, a reminder of the saver. Let's bring him up or her up. Practice of the saver. The saver saves more than 20% of the earned income. Think about yourself. Think about the income that you either make or that you made or that you will make, and imagine yourself right now like the income comes in, whatever check or money they give you, and you have an agreement with the bank predetermined. You've gone to the bank, you've fixed it this way. The 20% of your income goes straight into saving.
Mhm.
Like you don't even have to deal with that. The bank does it.
Yeah.
Think what would that do, or what would that have done? I don't exactly know your work situation right now, but what would that do in a matter of a year? Of
Mhm.
every time income comes in, 20% goes to savings.
I can't even imagine. I've never had a savings. I've never saved anything. And my dad and my sister are, uh, I would say, compulsive savers, and it's so distasteful to me. They appear to me so constricted and fear based and annoying that I can barely stand it.
Totally,
Like, it's in
exactly.
that, and I feel so much
So
fear in it. There's something beautiful because they have a sense of security that I don't have, but it
yeah,
just seems so constricted that I just, like, that vibration makes me want to scream and run.
yes, wow, potent, wow, 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 wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, ah, yeah. I just want to take a breath with that. Yeah, so no, because it's potent, it's true, and I.
Yeah,
So, I said earlier that we can either react or copy.
yeah.
Like some people are like, I don't know, I think Donald Trump, I'm just using as an example. I think he comes from the Trumps. There are they were a wealthy family, so he just inherited all this money. He actually, I don't know if you know anything about his story, he actually lost all the money. And then he made it again, and then lost it again, and then made it again.
Uh-huh.
So so he probably just copied, like what his ancestors did. He just like, okay, well, I'm coming from a wealthy family. I'm just gonna keep on with the empire.
Yeah.
Well, some of us, and I'm putting myself in this, some of us actually copied, and some of us actually rebelled, and they were like, you know what, Dad, middle finger, take this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna save money. I'm actually gonna become an idealist. I'm gonna fight the system
Uh-huh.
because I don't need money, and or I'm gonna become an innocent, and I'm just gonna feel like there's a balloon in my head, and I'm completely like totally lost when it comes to money. I don't even like want to. I don't even want to look at the bills,
Yeah.
and that can be out of a reaction. So, do you mind if I offer a practical suggestion?
No, please do.
Okay. So, practical suggestion is other than beginning to embody these archetypes. Particularly for you, the saver and the empire builder, I think they're going to be major. And I already hear you doing that in what you're doing in life.
Yeah.
Another, and this is true for you as well, Dominique, and for all of you, for me as well. Another great exercise to do is something I gave you like 2 classes ago, I think 2 or 3 classes ago, which is the shadow exercise. So you have an advantage here, Taya, where you actually know where some of your money trigger is coming from. You have a descriptive example of the person, your father and the sister, I think you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually do that exercise that I described, where you actually write down the negative qualities of the person, and then you embody them. Like you actually notice when in your life you have them, where in your life you've demonstrated that you have the similar qualities. And you can take time to do that. Like we don't have to do that right now, but that's an exercise to like rebalance things out. And then what you'd want to do also is with these archetypes, you'd wanna do the same exercise and show like where in your life are you an empire builder, where in your life are you a saver or have been a saver. And so like you want to bring the charge to a zero, because there's
Uh-huh.
a charge there. There's a charge against being a saver. So you want to bring it down to a 0, because as long as the charge stays up to a 7 or an 8 of like discomfort and rebellion, those unconscious patterns are going to keep showing up. So you want to bring the charge down to a 0.
Uh-huh.
Was that clear?
Yes. Yeah. It's so interesting because I spent my whole life just having it being normal, and the last 2 times I visited my mother, it was like someone just like slapped me across the face, and was like, how could I have not seen it? I spend exactly the way she does, and it's infuriating the way she spends. Like everyone who knows her just wants to shake her and go, Ronnie, wake up.
Yeah.
And I spend exactly the same way she does. And
Yeah.
I did not see it my whole life until the last 2 times I saw her. And this last time in particular, I was just like almost in shock, just sitting there listening to her. I'm like, those same words come out of my mouth when I come home from the store. And look at this, it was only blah, blah, blah on sale. And then just because I have money in my pocket, that means I can spend it. And I'm cute enough, so I will get more really easily and stuff like that. And it's just like so absolutely sickening and lovely and awakening. And so anyways, she's not going to change at age 72. So I'm really grateful that I'm going to change the financial story and be able to provide for her, since she cannot provide for herself.
Yeah.
That's
wow. Yeah, thank you for sharing that personal story. It's really powerful. I can actually, it actually touches on my own heartstrings, because I can relate personally to what you're sharing. And yeah, and we're doing our work, and some of this stuff can really make a difference. What I shared at the beginning of the class, I don't think you were plugged in yet for. I basically talked about the allegiances that we can have. There's subconscious allegiances that we can create with a particular group of people that we deemed like a tribe. I gave example of like poor people. Like I feel a connection with poor people, and then I become an innocent and maybe an idealist, because I want to feel part of that tribe, and because I feel good being part of the tribe that fights the man. And we can become we can build allegiances. Some like spiritual people could call it like, what do they call, like psychic chains, like the psychic chains that we link with like certain members of our family. So maybe for whatever reason we decided to side with mom and side with her way, and in order to be connected with her, we keep, particularly with money, and this is really sneaky, but in order to stay connected with her emotionally, we keep to behave in the same way that she does with money, so that we can stay connected with her emotionally. And it creates a fear. If we like, what would happen if you were to become an empire builder, with your relationship to your mom? Right. So that's something to keep exploring. Like emotionally could bring a lot of grief, for example, and a lot of fear. Like, wow, I could the child inside of us could say, I could lose my mom, like, which it's probably like irrational, like it's probably won't happen. But we need to keep facing these fears. This is the level of the work that I keep inviting us to do. What would happen if I became an empire builder and a saver, and suddenly I have $100,000 in the bank, and then I like, in that sense, I'm not connecting with my parents or with my mother in the way that I used to. So there's a loss there. There's a loss that needs to be grieved, but there's also an opportunity to open into something more, into a new relationship. So all the exercise that I mentioned, like look at your, and keep moving into embodying your sort of like your archetypes that are missing, and then to balance them, use the exercise, the one that I mentioned, the shadow exercise. That's really powerful.
Wonderful.
And then the homework. The homework, I'm gonna give you another good taste of that. So you can keep staying on the line, because I'm gonna have you both check out in a second. Okay. So I'm gonna read the homework.
Okay.
So homework for this week, again, they're fairly light. There's no 200 things to write. Homework are: make an altar of your main archetype and the medicine you need from your opposite archetype. So you wanna, in your house, if you don't have a house, in your car, whatever you are, make a small altar or big altar, whatever you want, of your main archetype. So you can make an altar to your innocent. Like, bring her out, like, see her. Don't just keep her hidden inside of you. Like, bring her out, and maybe you put pictures of you as a child. You put pictures of, you know, whatever that archetype of the innocent represents to you. And then next to it, you also want to put you want to put pictures, etc., of your empire builder, for example, of your savior, so that you can see them both, you can honor them both, and as Martine says, you can feed them both. So my suggestion is that, I didn't write this, but I'm going to speak it. You wanna pray to your altar, or you wanna sort of like offer beautiful words to your altar. Offer beautiful words to both of those archetypes. You wanna have them integrate, and so you wanna offer beautiful words. Maybe you wanna recite a poem to them, or speak to the beauty of each. Speak to the beauty of the innocent. Speak to the beauty of the empire builder. You know. Maybe you light a candle and then you speak those words. This is the sort of homework number one. You're going to create an altar, 2 archetypes, and you're going to speak beautiful words to them and light a candle to them. So you're turning on those archetypes in your life. Number 2, you're going to post a song in the Facebook page about your 2 archetypes, the one that you are and the one you can embody, and then you're going to dance to it. You don't have to post a video unless you want to of you dancing to the song. You could. I would love it, but you don't have to. But you could post a song. Like, something that people did in previous class was like, we noticed that there were a lot of people with the idealist archetype and also the innocent archetype in our class. And so people started posting Jay-Z songs, you know, songs about money, and like, he's just a baller and he's just like making money. And there was like such boldness and like cockiness to that it was just awesome. And he's like, you know, my friend that posted is like, this is my empire builder, like Jay-Z, you know, like this song, Jay-Z in this song is my empire builder, and then this is my innocent. So you're gonna post a song of those archetypes, because we wanna use the brain to play with all kinds of different, you know, artistic ways. So altars and song, and then third, you're gonna download, and I love to make this as a must, and I say this just to like challenge you to like step up, lovingly challenge you to step up into a completely new, different way of dealing with money. So some of you may already have a method of budgeting and balancing your checkbooks. I strongly double underline, underscored, strongly suggest you download YNAB. You need a budget. Fantastic. When?
Just now, as you were talking.
Oh, great! I love it. On your phone?
No, on my computer.
Okay, cool. So cool thing about YNAB, I'm gonna show you probably next time how it works. A cool thing, actually, I'm gonna do that now, since the class is over. Let me see. I'm gonna close that, and I took a picture of my own YNAB, just sort of like a random thing, and it might take a second to open. Anyway, YNAB you can use both for your computer and your phone. It's free for like either a month or 2 months, and it's one of the most life-changing. Can you see the picture here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of the most changing apps that I've ever used, and I'm telling you that I want it to be a must, because it was months for people told me for months to download this app, for months. I mean, people that I trust, friends over friends over friends, that were like, dude, download this app, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. I finally downloaded it, and it changed my financial life.
Wow.
not don't the numbers here are just like representative. It's not actually my YNAB, but I did this just to give you an example. So the way it works roughly is here can you see the mouse here when I do this?
Yes.
Okay, here you're gonna write your accounts. So like your bank account, you're gonna write like your bank. This is not connected to your bank, so it's not gonna impact your bank. But here you're gonna write your bank and how many accounts you have. I wrote 2 for my bank account, for my cash, so that I can track exactly how much money I have. Then the way that this works is that here you write down all of your expenses. You can write down to the T. You can change, add things. All your I wrote down my everyday expenses, and then things that I'm working towards. There are trips, my saving goal, maybe a debt that you have to repay, and then maybe monthly bills. There's another tab here. I don't have it here, but there's another tab for monthly bills. Then here you're gonna write down. You're gonna enter how much money you have over here. Just say you have 351, and then 351 is gonna show up here. And then here you're gonna write down. You're gonna budget out of that money, out of the 351 or 15. You're gonna take it from like this box. You're gonna put it in these little boxes. You're gonna put a certain amount for books, a certain amount for spending money, a certain amount for clothing, a certain amount for music, etc., 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 until it goes down to 0. And then as you spend it, you're gonna enter it, and it's gonna show up here. And here it's gonna show you how much money remain in that category. So like in my case here, I have $8 for spending money, $15 for clothing, etc., etc., etc. Now this is like a really sort of like a rough brush stroke. It may be confusing still to you. There are free classes out of the website. They're teaching, like they constantly teach like 3 classes a day on how to use this, and they're free, how to use this program. And the cool thing is that it's connected with your phone, so you can actually let's see, let's come back here. You can actually